before.
English Sabbath Aid, Bus SCH, the Sabbath Aid coins.
Including each and every single one of all the various subparts. Press the subparts button. So, Munich. I'm going to turn around in a circle so you can see it. Everything can be seen a little, or to be more precise. Here we are at the Munich Animal Shelter. So this is the branch of the reptile rescue station here. In the background you can see the exotic house. So the whole thing is in Tagelfing. This is not the main location, but as I said, it's the branch. I've been wanting to stop by here for a while to show a little bit and introduce it. You all surely know the reptile rescue station in Munich. It's a well-known term. Definitely the largest German reptile rescue station. And I'm going to give you a little insight today. So the people of Munich have not only reptiles, but also mammals. Today just happens to be pickup day for various raccoons. And there was quite a bit of raccoon catching going on. Unfortunately, I missed the action. But now they have the bears and want them here.
Thank you.
One of them is really stuck in the box. Look at the box back there.
It wouldn't be like he's in there. There he is, the little raccoon, and he should be coming out now. Who's supposed to come out now?
Well, don't think that's enough. But the guys and girls are convinced that's enough space. It's about to get exciting.
Is that really enough?
I also need to tie myself up again.
You have to be careful with the door because of Toby, so he doesn't get out. Or what? Yeah, but it's usually fully heated. At some point we have Toby here. He's hanging up there, watching everything.
Yes.
We did it. Hey, I would have bet you, as I said, I would have bet anything. You won't get through there. My judgment was off. I would have lost the bet big time. The little raccoon in the box can move into its new home, as you can see. They are currently working hard to expand that further. This is what the new exotic house is supposed to look like soon on the poster. So it's not just about reptiles here. So by now the rescue station, you can see it here on the sign, also has reptiles and exotics. So other animals too, like I said, just as an example, these raccoons. You can only see that from the outside, the raccoon house. So they are dealing more and more with other exotic animals and more various different species and creatures in need of help as well. It's not just the reptiles that need to be rescued. Oh look, I have already seen that on the website, you know, a beautiful white-handed gibbon. You can ask if I can maybe get a little closer. What? Beautiful animal? Of course, we agree on that. It doesn't belong here in the rescue station or in any living room, does it? What a beautiful animal. I personally and honestly believe that, in my opinion, you truly and genuinely cannot really provide that much space for them. Absolutely indeed. That he is happy and content. I think we're really, in quotes with our reptiles, the smallest problem, or in my opinion, actually no problem at all. Thank you very much. So we're going up here. Let's go in here and explore the surroundings. It already looks like a proper terrarium. Here is Thomas Türbl. Hi Tom, nice to see you. Thanks for having me here and showing us around.
We are here in the exotics house with us. We have 3 locations, Karlbachstrasse, Colonia, and here our exotics house, where we have some large giant snakes. I think this will be of particular interest to you. We have carpet pythons, reticulated pythons, and tiger pythons. We can take a look at everything right away. Different rooms. We can definitely take a look around.
I just briefly explained that with the locations, I mentioned 2, there are 3.
Exactly. We have something special for turtles as well. For snakes, we have 2 locations, crocodiles, etc. And then we have one area where there are only turtles, Chelonia, old greenhouse. We also built that for turtles.
Come on, please show us the various different areas now. This is for carpet pythons.
Carpet pythons. A total of 6 snakes. Here are the different carpet pythons. Overall, we currently have about 30 carpet pythons at our station, and here is one of the rooms where we try to keep them as close to nature as possible. Flooring inside, we have water basins, we have live plants. That's always very important to us, that we keep renewing them. For the snakes, we simply provide enrichment with scents, etc. We have leaves in there, just first floor substrate.
And the climate is definitely great. You can tell right away when you stick your head in here. Absolutely. Tropical, great humidity, great warmth. How does he do it in terms of gender? Is there only one male in there, or are there even several males in there that they have to watch out for? That they stay out of each other's way a bit?
Exactly, so female groups usually work quite well. With the males, we also make sure to keep the genders separated. So male groups, female groups, and if something doesn't work out, are they also kept individually? So the male animals are sometimes kept individually. In this case, they are all female animals.
Okay, well, with that size, I could have imagined it too. That you might even be able to put 2 males in, that they stay out of each other's way a bit. That is at least 2 Waiwoks, 2 Metsuar, so at least 4, 5, 6 Metsuar.
Exactly. And in terms of size, that's definitely good for the animals. The management is more of a problem when it comes to feeding. Every animal is caught, and catching carpet pythons takes a bit of time, and then they are fed individually. And of course, the breeding with us, we are a rescue station. We are not a breeding station, so we don't breed any animals here. When it comes to laying eggs, that's not a problem at all. We can destroy the eggs. With live-bearing animals, it becomes a problem again. Boas, anacondas, and so on. Of course, you have to pay even more attention to separating the genders.
Okay, makes sense. That makes sense.
We then have different rooms, gradually, and we have various species of animals. That used to be cat rooms, so that was a cat room where they kept the cats in the animal shelter here. And we then converted it for reptiles. That shouldn't be a permanent solution, but it's a temporary animal care. It's definitely great for keeping them.
Of course. It's difficult when you feed them. So, now the topic of keeping animals in enclosures, as far as I know, don't particularly like it. Keeping them in enclosures is practical. You have each animal separately. I can feed them individually. When you start feeding here, then one person will probably be busy for at least an afternoon to keep each animal separately, to feed them individually. Then you have a lot more work to do.
But for us, it's very important that the animal is the focus. And it's not about the caregiver, but about meeting the needs of the animal. Animal welfare also requires keeping animals in a way that meets their needs, and the animal is at the center of that. That means management is also an important point. But fundamentally, it's much more important to meet the climate requirements, provide hiding places, bathing options, and of course, feeding is also an important topic. That's why we currently have 4 snakes in here. These are tiger pythons, albinos, and also the reticulated python, here in the front, tiger rat snakes, or different color variations. And again, substrate, hiding places, also just taking things from outside, just taking roots that you hold outside. It's already a very natural way of keeping them. Right. Nice, yes. Here we have a quarantine enclosure for a small white-tufted marmoset. This is a confiscated animal from an animal welfare case, and it's currently being kept alone. We have another little monkey in the other quarantine room. They are also supposed to be socialized. What happens? Monkeys with mammals? Yes, that happens quite often. What's very important with reptiles is actually the exact opposite. Often much better to keep them alone. Keeps them alone rather than in groups.
I can imagine the primates. They will definitely be a real problem.
We often get inquiries from veterinary offices that regulate such keeping and then really don't know. Where are they supposed to house these poorly kept animals? That's why we now have not only reptiles, but also small mammals. Up to the raccoon, which you saw earlier. The placement of the raccoons are also servals, which we still have. Here we have some from a seizure. Okay, yes, I have.
As soon as I walked in, I pointed out the more or less new sign. Reptile and Exotic Animal Rescue Center. Yes, but if we were in Papua exactly, they are also from a seizure.
From a seizure of the big guy, who unfortunately can't be seen. I'm not going in there in Bavaria either. As a danger, of course, from a certain size, large reptiles are also dangerous. The animal caretakers can go in. They can also handle the animal. I'm not going in there anymore. He's at the back up top or in his box.
Okay. See if we can find a caretaker later. It would be really cool if we could take a quick look in there. So a Salvadori is something special? Exactly, that's something I think so too.
I want to see the female because we have a second one here. They are also not together.
Maybe a thin one will come.
Also a tropical climate, of course. And here we have, around the corner on the left, a yellow anaconda. The adoption process is also relatively difficult again. Yellow anacondas and another tiger python. A tiger is looking out there, right? But fortunately, you can't see the little one either. He will also be lying in his tube.
He will be up there in the org.
They have their hiding spots.
Now we continue with the boy.
Exactly, those are the boa constrictors, also very important. The socialization is only of females or only of male animals. In the end, it continues just like that. We have nesting boxes too. They may not look very pretty, but they are very well accepted as hiding spots. Climbing opportunities. Additional hiding spots. I don't see any right now. They are all lying in the box and hiding. One is hiding here.
There's one particular that saw a photo.
Exactly, indeed, it did well in the foliage. The boa constrictor is a really big problem for us when it comes to adoption, because we almost never have documents for the animals, and therefore we can't certify their origin. Or any island forms, color variations, which is what people often look for in boa constrictors. With us, it's just a pretty boa that can be adopted easily, but we can't say anything about the origin.
Well, of course, in the end, everything is just a so-called mixed boa. That's unfortunately already enough. That's really a shame. That's the problem we have.
We currently have 30 to 40 boa constrictors. That's really a lot of animals. Here we have some boas again, indeed.
You can see them quite well here.
That's indeed quite a larger specimen, a bit. There are now a total of 3 females in the room. Here are some more carpet pythons.
Bending dendrophon, is it in there right now or not?
It's in there too. Yeah, oh look, it's lying there nicely. You can maybe see the head too, exactly.
Then let's check that one down.
Yes, I'm watching that.
Don't get us wrong.
There are 2 stacked on top of each other, exactly. And then comes a tiger python, also a very beautiful specimen, a very light one, but also...
Hypo. The hypo tiger is crawling over here. I can imagine that when the door opens, I think, oh look, here comes some little bunny or a rat or something. Now we will take care of Tudu, keeping in the enclosure.
Sure.
Can I film the bendy ones?
We often do the socialization due to space reasons. So it really is the case that we socialize some things where we naturally think about it. The climate is suitable. In zoos or private holdings, some things won't be socialized like that. For us, sometimes space really is a problem. That we really say, okay, reticulated pythons and tiger pythons can be together. It depends on the climate, and we have this space now. Now for the male animals, for example, or the female animals, and then we socialize them. And in the case with the boigas up there, they are of course climbing. They are up in the upper area. Of course, you can also add them in there because it fits climatically. And the zookeepers can also handle dangerous animals like false cobras or even mildly venomous snakes, of course. In Bavaria, the reticulated pythons and tiger pythons are also classified as dangerous. You need a special permit for such animals. You actually can't keep them privately. But you can see here, they are not dangerous in the sense that they won't immediately attack and hang onto my leg. Rather, they are actually quite calm animals. And if you handle them well, it actually works wonderfully. But the size, of course, a reticulated python, if it ever grows over 3 or 4 meters long, then it can be quite dangerous for humans. That you can no longer free yourself when they attack and strike. And that's why you should always go in pairs or threes. Sometimes we also socialize boas and tiger pythons or boas and pythons together. We are definitely careful about that. There is IBD, inclusion body disease, which is a different problem for boas. Like for pythons, we test all the animals that come in here during quarantine. And only when they test negative can you keep them together. We still mostly separate boas and pythons.
Yes, because the habitat is almost the same.
How would it be possible, Matthew? But because of these viral diseases and so on, because they react differently sensitively to it. You should definitely be careful there.
Makes sense, okay? Cool. Are we done with the big ones?
We're done with the snakes. We have a nice tank here, just for the sake of completeness, since we're up here. There are musk turtles in there and a few fish. If you look closely, you might still see one somewhere. These are small aquatic turtles that we really like to place. Our goal is always to place the animals in private homes. That means people apply to us and can then take on animals from us. Like in a regular animal shelter, only that we don't have dogs, cats or mice, but rather exotic animals. One is coming now, one is coming here. He saw it right away, that we're talking here. These are beautiful animals that have grown to size. If you have a 1 meter, 1.5 meter tank, aquarium, aquaterrarium, you can keep them wonderfully in such a terrarium, aquaterrarium. And we always have some of that species here, which we like to place. I just gave it a rub. Thank you. Great.
Listen up, folks. Here's my... Watch your little creature, Jimmy. Did I perhaps already show you this? Possibly at the beginning? Just look.
Feel free to get in touch.
Let's hold hands here. Us two. The chains are, of course, nice. Please, and don't take that away.
Rub his back gently.
Just briefly.
He likes that. Yes, this is a white-handed gibbon who has unfortunately been with us for 2 years now. And he has always been kept alone and urgently needs companionship. These are very social animals, monkeys. And we are very happy that we can soon find him a new home. We finally found a zoo where he then, next week in 2 weeks, it took a long time. As I said, 2 years.
Come up here, Jimmy. Come on, let us see you.
Finger in the mouth, exactly. Very nice.
Okay. So you're saying you had him here for so long. So someone also had him privately. Thought to himself, oh great, I always wanted to have a pet. Have at home or what?
Exactly, that's how it was. This is an animal bred in the zoo and was then sold in the market. And apparently a private individual has come forward who thought to himself, I can keep a gibbon at home. But he didn't have any permits for the enclosure construction and so on, and he didn't report it either. Conservation law, now he's just pulling my hair exactly.
Good day, Mr. Klingelman.
And then the authorities took the animal away.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, I am a little bit on thin ice, because I'm of course completely in favor of keeping reptiles, and I say reptiles can be kept well. And in my opinion, you can keep tiger pythons and so on well, if you naturally provide the appropriate space. But a space for a tiger python, we're talking about 3 or 4 square meters or 5. I believe it's definitely doable. Now, when it comes to primates, I'm also absolutely skeptical. I mean, I already mentioned it in my old Reptil TV episode. Monkeys were always the animals of my childhood dreams. Growing up, Daktari, you always wished for that. I really want a monkey. Now I have to say almost no one, let's say almost no one, can keep a monkey at home. Maybe the very small species, if you really provide them with a huge space, can keep a monkey at home. Maybe the very small species, if you really provide them with a huge space. You also have to say that you have to accept the smell and so on. You definitely don't want that at home. But a gibbon, or such a huge animal, you really have to...
We see it the same way. So reptiles, many species of reptiles can be kept very well at home because their needs can be relatively easily met. You obviously need to know this in advance. Acquire knowledge, gain expertise, and then you can keep a snake, a gecko, a lizard, or whatever, turtles very well at home. With many primates, it's really extreme, but also with other mammals. It's also all very demanding. Just the socialization, like group housing, social integration, and so on, is often much more complex than with reptiles. And that's why we indeed believe that many reptiles can be kept in a way that is extremely compliant with animal welfare.
But something like this really, absolutely, no longer borderline, but actually it's not possible.
Almost impossible. I mean, privately, it's really not possible. Also, all the cats, big cats and so on, that doesn't really work in private hands.
Thumbs up if you found it as exciting as I did. but also the reference to your reptile rescue station, or rather, we're making a little YouTube video for ourselves now. Oh, a video from you, exactly. We'll do another episode about that. Where you can still, to address one thing or another. Yes, thanks again for letting him come. And then maybe we'll do a part 2 at the 333 station sometime. And here we have a good idea. And Johnny, all the best in your new home, that you might find, perhaps you might discover, maybe even stumble upon a truly remarkable and exceptionally nice chain, or whatever it might possibly be called. So, then, I kindly ask you to please remain loyal to me. Check out the Reptile Rescue Station in Munich. Thank you very much and see you next time.